This is the vote tally card. We're going to frame this one, okay? 218, 214. I would sum it up with one word. It's belief. Okay, we had a vision for what we wanted to do as a group. We believed in the election cycle last fall that we were going to be given this great blessing of unified government, that we would have the White House and the Senate and the House aligned, in alignment, unified government. And we did not want to waste that opportunity because we understand the history that comes along with it, the opportunity that we can do for the country, and we believe that we would have that chance. And then I believe in the people that are standing here behind me. I believe in this group, every single one of them individually. Some of them are more fun to deal with than others, you know. I mean that with the greatest level of respect. I love every single one of my colleagues. You know, even the ones I got to spend the more time with, right? Because everybody's here, their motive is right, their heart is right. They're trying to do right for their constituents. They're trying to serve the greatest nation in the history of the world that we're going to celebrate tomorrow. We don't take that lightly. But when we went to the Senate, of course, as the other chambers have to do, they made some changes. They sent it over to us. We didn't have it for a lot of time. And so some members wanted to go really deep in the weeds on the changes, and they wanted to fully understand what those amendments were and how they would interact with the rest of the bill and how the administration would administer the new laws. And so there was a process there for a couple of days where we allowed that time for them to explore all that, to talk with leaders in the administration. President Trump was so generous with his time answering questions himself. Vice President J.D. Vance was directly engaged. We had cabinet secretaries at a number of different federal agencies answering questions from members. I think a lot of the estimations about what this legislation would do in a negative manner to communities in my state or any other are far overblown. I can tell you that this bill is going to be a great thing for everybody around the country, my constituents especially. What's good for Louisiana is good for America. We've got great tax policy here. I think they're going to feel this pretty quickly. Wages will rise. I think household income will go up. I think the job participation rate will increase dramatically. I think unemployment will be low. We're going to duplicate what we did in the first Trump administration. Remember, at the first 2 years, y'all have heard me say 1,000 times, it's objectively true. We had one of the greatest economies in the history of the world, and we're going to do that again, except this time much more comprehensively.
There will be monthly job reports. We'll see what happens with inflation. We'll see what happens with home ownership, job starts. If cutting $1 trillion out of Medicaid is what we call progress, I'd like to see what failure is, because that is what we have just seen happen. And for anybody to say the impact is not going to, it's going to be minuscule, you must not know how much $1 trillion is.
There have to be consequences to these votes, and we have to decide if this is just a joke or just for TV or if this is our real lives. And I hope people vote like it's our real lives.
No, I think when America understands that things like if you're able to work, you ought to work, and we need to clear up some of the fraudulent behavior so that it provides for those single moms with 2 kids that are maybe just getting by, and it doesn't collapse the system. The least amongst us is a biblical reference that Jesus made, and I kind of dig it.
You know, if you think about like who sort of helped them get to where they are right now, when you think about MAGA, you think about the majority that they have, they represent a lot of lower income people. I see them all the time in the DFW area. They live in Fort Worth, in Dallas. A lot of them live in the surrounding counties, and they're going to be destitute, and they're not going to be able to have their Medicaid. They're also not going to be able to have some of the benefits that the Affordable Care Act was able to bring to their families. And so to me, they have pulled the rug from up under some of the very same people that wear these MAGA hats. They ought to take those damn MAGA hats and throw them in the dumpster, because they are going to be in a much tougher situation than they're in right now.
Winning is caving? Well, if winning is caving, then I guess we caved.
Mr. Chairman, can you tell us what kind of deal, what kind of concessions were made?
No, just that when you put them all together into the package, it was a much better package than the Senate package alone, or what would have come back from the Senate if we had sent it over to the Senate. And remember, this process has been going on since January. When we started, what was on the table was $300 billion in spending reduction. We, by holding to what the Freedom Caucus has done for the last 10 years, which is make deficit reduction a primary motive, we achieved $1.5 trillion, and that doesn't include the agreements we came to last night that will further reduce spending outside the framework of the bill.